One other thing I want to talk about before going to the charts is crypto mortgages. So this is something that isn't new. There has been some non-QM products out there, non-qualified mortgage products where you can get a mortgage or a down payment in cryptocurrency. But this is something new where Better Home Finance and Coinbase have together come up with this new mortgage crypto product. It's not the first crypto mortgage, but it is the first one that is accepted by Fannie Mae, which is a big freaking deal. And this allows people to use crypto assets as collateral. So Fannie Mae is going to purchase these loans just like they would any other conforming mortgage. And that means that the rates on these things are going to be a lot more attractive than other types of crypto mortgages out there. And Better, along with Coinbase, has created this infrastructure to enable really not just Bitcoin or USDC, which is the first iteration here, but any tokenized asset you can pledge in order to use that for a down payment to buy a home. So, that could be a tokenized stock like Amazon or Apple or any publicly traded tokenized asset. So this is kind of like a new frontier here. Now, let me explain to you how this product works. So to use it, you have to have a Coinbase account, and you would take out a regular mortgage with Better Home Finance, as well as a second loan, which right now will be backed by either Bitcoin or USDC. So you'd still have your regular mortgage, but the problem that most young people have today is they can't come up with a down payment. So this is giving them an option, especially younger investors who may be invested in crypto. Maybe they are married to those assets. They don't want to sell them. It's not an ideal time to sell them potentially. I mean, I would agree with that right now, right? With Bitcoin down, around 70,000 or so from 126,000, it would be painful to sell that to then go ahead and come up with money for a down payment. So what they're offering here is another option. Now, I think there's pluses and minuses, and it's not for the first mortgage on the house. It's for a second loan for the down payment. So here's how it works. Both the loans are held by Better. Okay, so you take out your primary mortgage with Better and a second loan that is backed by either your Bitcoin or your USDC holdings. And the second loan funds the down payment for the first loan. So Better holds both of these, and the crypto assets, once you pledge them, they cannot be traded. And even if the value of the cryptocurrency falls, which you might think could impact that down payment loan, nothing changes on the loan as long as you keep making monthly payments. So here's an example. You have a $500,000 home. The borrower can pledge 250,000 Bitcoin and get a $100,000 loan to cover the cash down payment. The crypto stays in custody in Better's Coinbase Prime account for the life of the loan and is returned once the loan is repaid. So there's pluses and minuses here. The downside, you're paying two loans, but you are only making one payment. The rate is the same on them. There's no mortgage insurance on that second down payment loan. You're making one payment to Better, but you have essentially two loans in that one payment, one for the home and then one for the down payment. And there is an upside where you don't need to sell your cryptocurrency. You can still hold on to that and come up with funds for the down payment. Obviously, you're going to be paying for that with a loan, but you can get appreciation from those assets. So listen, if you're going to be pledging 250,000 Bitcoin, that's, I don't know, let's say it's like 4 Bitcoin right now, right? Then that 4 Bitcoin, if you were to sell it for, at the current prices versus holding that, and if over the course of, this loan, it goes up to a much, much higher price, that may be worth it, right? Instead of selling that asset to gain that capital appreciation in the asset, I tend to think that over time that will be worth it. But, of course, if you don't have other options to come up with cash, this could be a decent option for you. I don't really think it makes a lot of sense using USDC, however. So they're allowing you to use Bitcoin or USDC. If you use Bitcoin, you have to essentially, let's say if it's a $100,000 down payment, you have to have 2.5 times that in Bitcoin. If it's USDC that you're going to use, it's 1.25 times, so 125% of the down payment. So if it's a $100,000 down payment, you need 125,000 in USDC. Now, USDC is like a digital version of the dollar. Yes, you can earn yield on it, but I don't understand why you wouldn't want to just convert that to actual dollars, forget about the yield, and just not have to take out a down payment loan. Because while I see in some of these articles talking about it, you can offset the interest rate to a degree on that second loan with the yield you get from USDC. While that may be true, you're not going to be getting a 3.5% rate on that second mortgage. It's probably going to be double that. So it still doesn't make any sense to me on why somebody would logically do this loan backed on USDC instead of just converting the USDC to US dollars and then just paying the down payment, especially when you have to come up with 125% of the down payment in USDC, which really shouldn't be. I would think it would make more sense if it was at least 1-to-1 because there's really not any risk with that. But it does make sense in my eyes for somebody that owns Bitcoin, doesn't have cash, and doesn't want to sell their Bitcoin, and they can't come up with funds for a down payment any other way. But I do think this is really just the beginning. And I think that this marks an important point of time because Fannie Mae is going to be purchasing and accepting these loans. And I think this just kind of creaks that door open for a lot more to be done in the space there. Now, something else is that if you're approved for the loan by Better, Coinbase One members, which boy would certainly make sense to be a Coinbase One member based on the price, and I like some of the other benefits anyway, but you can get 1% of the mortgage veil. So let's just say that, if it's a $800,000 loan, you can get $8,000 back. It caps at 10,000. So if it's $1 million mortgage, you can get 10,000 back that you can use as credits for your closing costs on that second loan. So they do help you at least a little bit there. But I did think it was a very interesting product and something that, is a point in time here where we're going to start to see more stuff now that this is happening, where you're going to see more lending from tokenized assets and seeing organizations like Fannie Mae getting involved. I think is a big step. So let's go ahead and just